we've talked about that.
If you think I'm kidding, I'm not. That Ninth Circuit is the Hell Circuit.
Yeah, so you sent me that link about Italy, and they reported this morning that, that they had performed these autopsies. They went against...
That's why they were told not to.
Yeah, they went against the WHO's recommendation to perform autopsies on these bodies, and they discovered that the virus is not even a virus. It's a bacteria, and it's a parasite infection that causes clotting and low oxygen in the blood. And the WHO, World Health Organization, is lying about the original narrative. In my humble opinion, is what I'm saying, is that the WHO is an official terrorist organization because they're threatening this second wave.
That's right. It's 100% accurate. I'll tell you, Amelia, I think I told you once before. I was 21 years old, and I was watching the movie Kramer versus Kramer. And as he set his little boy up, Dustin Hoffman set his little boy up in the window, and he said to him, "Look at that building, son. That's the UN." He said, "What is that building, Daddy?" And he said, "That's the UN. It's a very good organization." And God said, "No, it's not." To me, he said, "It's horrifying." And I'm 21 years old, and I'm going, "What?" It's horrifying. He said, along with the WHO, he let me know all the way back then that they were very, very negative, not good. It's a lie. It's a deception. And it turns out, what do you know? It's true. Yeah. I mean, why would I at that age be thinking of that? You know what I mean? I had no idea. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's all being exposed. That's the good news. Did you hear what Trudeau did? He's selling off all his gold to China. God. He's a literal sellout.
I'm not surprised by that.
Selling all their gold to China. Italy, many of their businesses are now owned by China. This is what they want. This is their whole idea, is to take over this country. They want a grand takeover. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to work the way they thought it was. I want to put a little plug out for people, anyone who thinks it's a good idea to get rid of your guns or have not be protected by your amendment rights. You better rethink that, because 10 years ago to the day, 10 years ago when they did it, 10 years after the date of confiscating their weapons in Venezuela, they were eating dog meat in the street and being killed at will. So if you think it's a good idea, you might want to rethink it, because it's not. So that's just a little plug for the, right to bear arms.
I sent you a little bit about the second wave, and we know that the COVID-19 now from Italy, we know that it causes lack of oxygen in the bloodstream, as well as it causes blood clots.
Well, the reason why it's going to be worse is they're going to be setting up the 5G. It does cause
I want to talk about the second wave, because it also has 3 envelopes. It has 3 envelopes, which is HIV, and it's sexually transmitted. So people are going to be socializing this, because it's not being
right.
The civilians are not being educated about the effects of how this is really being transmitted, or
even just the health factors of how you can buck up your immunes.
Yeah.
With non-synthetic D3, with vitamin C, with zinc, they're just not being told anything. You can take an aspirin a day, Amelia, between 80 to 100 milligrams, and it thins your blood.
The reason why it's going to be more potent is because it has a neurotoxin. Mm-hmm. It's going to...
Yeah, it's just so not good. And then they're going to couple it with that shot. So they're going to have the bacteria in the shot. I mean, and
all of this is so that we get
nuts.
This is so the vaccine industry can take over. And, people think it's the medical mafia. Like, the medical industry here in America is really, really bad right now. It's like third world country medical. It's very archaic. And
right.
People don't understand that the vaccine industry in China, we have China has so many holdings and owns, Harvard Medical. They have a lot of interest in our hospitals. And people would understand that we are number one worldwide globally for human trafficking. And a lot of these NGO, non-governmental movements, political movements, they target for gang stalking. And the whole point of gang stalking, and I want to say this also, this includes Child Protective Services, because the whole point of gang stalking and targeting individuals is for human trafficking. Mm-hmm. Not only that, but it's not just human trafficking; it's organ harvesting as well. And
China's the head of that,
number one for organ harvesting. So people really need to try to at least wrap their heads around the bigger picture.
Right. And I mean, people don't like to be frightened, but I'll tell you one thing: it's going to be a lot more frightening if they don't wake up now and do what they can to fight it. It's going to be a lot more frightening
if you don't wake up now. It's going to be a lot more frightening when it is 10 toes on the ground and, it's right, you think it's bad now. You think it's bad
you
now.
You and your bug out bag.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or not.
No,
right? So, yeah.
And it's like you guys can say, oh, you're against China. I'm not against China. Chinese civilians were protesting this corruption in Hong Kong for
and
months.
Drug off to take
and I was profiling on my show. Yeah. I was even hosting them speaking out on my platform. And I fully support Chinese civilians in
I know, they're beautiful.
I know. However, people here in America, want to say, oh, that you're anti-Chinese. I am not anti-Chinese. I am not anti-Asian at all whatsoever. I am anti-globalist. This agenda to base our global economy on enslavement of the basically the globe. This is globalism. It's globalism.
Well, China is even threatening Hong Kong. They're threatening to burn it to the ground if they don't knuckle under.
Exactly.
And what they don't realize is they were occupied for almost 4 years back in World War II, and they made it through it. They will survive. Yeah. They will.
So it's like, you guys gotta wake up. You guys gotta, we've got to really stand firm and speak out. Everybody become an activist. Everybody that's listening to my show right now, pick something, anything. Pick something you're going to speak out against.
Yes. Absolutely. Whether it's nutrition you can help people with, whether it's, the vaccine thing, whether it's the GMO foods, the chemtrails, do something to help, because we're under attack from every angle. We really, truly are.
We really, truly are. And not only that, it's time to really disengage from this corrupt system as much as you can. I encourage starting a greenhouse, starting a community garden.
Yes.
Anything that you can to just completely disengage from the system, because these people are out of control.
I think I want to get a landline. Just because there's certain things you can put in your house, even when the grid goes down, to keep it running. There's EMF things that keep it, you know what I mean, the whole house running. You can actually purchase those, so I'm looking into that. But the thing is that I'm
getting a corded phone. I'm getting a corded phone back.
I want it because I want to be able to call you. I think everyone should do it, and the reason I'm going to start advocating that, I may even do a live on just that. We can get together and do a live when I've slept one night. But I haven't slept on and day. The night before I didn't even. But anyway.
All right, we're going to do a live talking on a corded phone.
We have to. Yeah. We have to, because we have to have corded phones. It's because we need to stay in contact. And I'm going to take this phone right here. If they're going to do that contact tracing on me, this thing's going into the Rogue River.
And radios, just regular AM, FM radios.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm so over it. Yeah. It's like, we know the truth now. It's like, so, the whole bag of worms has been exposed. So, and now it's just, we are in the fight of our lives, but it is amazing too, because we are no longer living under a placated system. Now, I mean, you can live under that if you want to and lie to yourself, but I think everyone's starting to know. And God showed me, Amelia, about 3-4 years ago. He said, Jacqueline, before this is done, everyone's going to know, and they're going to have to make a choice. They will know, and they will make a choice. The children are protected. No matter what happens to them,
you're going to get a corded phone. You're going to buy a corded. I'm going to buy a corded phone this week.
I need to do it. I'm going to look into it tomorrow. I'm just going to buy one and then figure out how to set it up if I have to get it through the company. I had one in Hawaii. I loved it.
It's so cheap. I think you can buy vintage ones on Amazon for super cheap.
Yeah, and so how do you connect them? But Daryl will know how to do that. I don't have a friend that will know how to do that, because I am so not inclined toward that.
Let's get a corded phone. Let's get landlines, and then also get AM, FM radios as well. And also, guys, go on to these prefab greenhouses websites online. Also, I started a foraging group on my social media news network. You can join the social media news network, and there's several foraging groups that are sprouting up that are really cool about foraging wild mushrooms and
you're so smart, though, the greenhouse thing, Amelia. Let me reiterate on that for just a minute. That is worth its weight in gold. I mean, that is so valuable, because they're now, I'm not sure, they may be putting sulfuric acid now too in or, how they said they wanted to cover the sun eventually with this sulfur chalk. Gates wants to do that, of course, so that they can terraform. But what my point is, the reason I'm bringing that up is that the greenhouse stops. Now, I've seen people who've been doing gardens and planting for years saying, and I see it on some of my plants, whatever they're putting in the chemtrails now is burning. It's making it like orange and yellow. Some of the plants on their leaves, it's like literally burning it. And so a greenhouse is invaluable. It's killing all the wildlife. Invaluable.
It's so crazy, and so is the radiation. It's just insane.
But the greenhouse will keep it clean.
All of this, folks. Let me just tell you the truth. All right. These maniacal people are trying to terraform the whole entire planet so that they can make the conditions as such so their freaking programmable flesh parasites and bacteria can live, so they can micromanage you, infect you with it, and micromanage you.
That's right. And they've even the CDC, or is it the WHO? One of them came out with, the Surgeon General, the really cool guy, what's his name? He's a black man, and he is amazing gentleman.
Not only that, they want to micromanage our lifespans as well. I mean, all of it.
Well, he said that the masks are a detriment to your health.
Yeah. Low oxygen.
Well, I can feel it when I wore one to Costco just one day. I've never worn them, but in order to go to, I love their organic beef and chicken and cheese.
Drink oxygenated water.
Oh, I know, but I wore one just for a half hour, an hour in there, and my lungs could feel it when I came out. It's not healthy. It's not natural to be breathing in your own oxygen and reusing it. It's carbon monoxide.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the thing is, it is detriment to your health. And these people walking around in them all day, passing out in their car in them, wearing them everywhere, they are going to be so weak when the fall comes and they put whatever they do in the air and they try to vaccinate. Half the people say they'll take a vaccination. And that's just, if you're weak and somebody sneezes around you and they're shedding that crap, you could pick up something.
Folks, I've posted the truth. I've posted a gold mine on my timeline. If you go to my Facebook timeline and you look in the comments, you can read so much of my notes and research of things to back up what I'm saying to you right now online. I've archived everything, and I've done extensive research on all of this. And the information that I'm putting forth, I can back it up. And I hope you research it as well. I hope it inspires you to even look deeper than what I have.
Right, and then go to my Facebook page, and you will find many articles, and they are legitimate articles. And the thing is, also, Patricia Daniel is another one. She posts really important information as well. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying you people can look and find it. If you want to know, you will know. I could spend hours researching. It's so incredibly interesting to me. It all fits together like a gigantic